knows what I'm even doing right now? Who knows? So I decided to go live again because some of you may know that my boyfriend actually has D&D on Tuesdays, and I decided that I'm not doing anything on Tuesdays. I'm not doing anything at all. So I thought, maybe I will start going live on Tuesdays. So that is what I am doing. This is the correct link. I am going to make the other ones private because you guys know I don't know how to do live streaming at all. So that is what we're doing. Going live here. And as, by the way, I'm not even looking at the chat yet. I'm just making the other ones private so that you guys get to the right place. And hopefully it is working. Okay, I'm back on the chat. Hi, guys. Thank you, Cassia. I appreciate that. So I've had about 2 minutes where I haven't said jack shit. But, okay, so I think now that we're all set and everything has been hidden that I didn't want. So what I wanted to do today, again, because my boyfriend already has D&D on Tuesdays, I've been thinking that it might be cool to do like a weekly live stream on Tuesdays. I don't know if Tuesdays work for you guys. I don't know if this timing works for you guys. Before I did do it at 8 o'clock, and some people said that was a little bit too late. So I moved it up a little bit earlier. But I thought, okay, what can I do for a live stream tonight? I just want to get on and chat. And I was thinking something could be interesting is basically go through some products that I have been trying and I need to give a second chance. You know, I was trying them for a while, and then for whatever reason, I was kind of turned off by these products. And I wanted to kind of walk you through why I want to give these another chance, sort of my experience with them. And then we'll see if I still feel the same way, if I should, you know, return or get rid of the products. And that's another kind of weird thing about this time is I don't really feel comfortable decluttering in the classical sense. I kind of just either want to figure out a way to use them or return them, or they just kind of go to waste. So that is something that's been a little bit weird during this time. So I really want to make these products work, if that makes sense. I also have a big old glass of sangria because you guys know I like drinking on live stream. Or I guess I just like drinking in general, but especially on live stream. So first, I want to start off with a primer that I already know I like. And I want to go that route because if you don't have a good base, you're not really going to know if the products are going to work well. So I am using the Colourpop Pretty Fresh. This is a hyaluronic acid primer. It's really affordable, and it actually quite reminds me of the Hangover RX from Too Faced, if you want a cheaper alternative to that. This does have, it's slightly thicker and a little bit more emollient, but I actually find that this gives me even more hydration. The smell, though, if you don't like coconut, you're not gonna like it because this has a pretty strong coconut smell. So keep that in mind. It's almost kind of sunscreeny, but it works really well as a primer to just like very quickly hydrate your skin. Hey, Cassie, this is from American Apparel from back in the day when they were, you know, in their heyday. I used to purchase quite a few just like fisherman style sweaters from them. This is kind of like my my thing. Stripes are like half my wardrobe is stripes. So when I saw this, I was like, all right, another striped sweater. That sounds good to me. So I just need another layer because my skin is feeling a little bit dry. And yeah, so let's get on to some products that I need to retry and I need to give a second chance. Here's one, the NYX Born to Glow. So I liked this at first, and I actually really liked the finish that it gave my skin. It kind of gave me a really like airbrushed, pretty finish, and it offers quite a bit of coverage. It's more of like a medium coverage. I have the shade Porcelain. I want to give this another shot because as I would continue to wear it, and a live stream is a good way to test this out because if I'm on here for about an hour, you know, by the end of it, we'll kind of be able to tell a little bit how it wore. So by the end of when I wore it, I was noticing that it was kind of collecting in areas, if that makes sense, especially around my nose. And I noticed that as I get older, that's kind of a trouble spot for me, especially kind of around my nose. Hey, Kate, we're putting on the NYX Born to Glow foundation. And if you're just joining, I am retrying a bunch of products. I really want to get some more use out of products, especially because I don't feel comfortable decluttering and giving away products at the moment. So I really want to try and make some of these products work for me and kind of give them another go. But I hope that this wears a little bit better because initially upon like just application, this is really gorgeous and gives really immediate coverage, looks very natural, and it has such an airbrush quality that I think a lot of people will really enjoy this. And I mean, I picked it up for a reason. I saw people really liking it. And again, I'm having a very similar experience to what I had before, which is going on very evenly, a lot of coverage, really easy to apply, but we'll see if I get any settling around my nose. That is something that I never dealt with before until like, I don't know, a year ago. Everyone's like, Amanda, you know, how do you get your foundation to last all day? And I'm like, I mean, my foundation used to last all day. And I just noticed that as I've gotten older, it's kind of collected around my nose a little bit. Just, you know, your face changes when you get older. Allie, this is actually the Hollywood Flaws filter. Yeah, I would say this is more of like a foundation product. This offers a shit ton of coverage. I would compare this to the other Charlotte Tilbury foundation that I cannot think of for the life of me. Oh wait, no, is it the Hollywood? No, I forget. All of her product names sound the same also. Like it's all like Hollywood, glam. It's all old Hollywood like themed, so I can't even really remember what they're all called. I hate applying foundation with bangs, guys. It's kind of the bane of my existence lately. So yeah, this actually, it is similar to the Fenty Hydrating foundation, except this is even more sort of like an airbrush quality. But to get back to the Charlotte Tilbury question, this reminds me of the really full coverage foundation that she just came out with recently that I cannot think of. I also have a bunch of extra products that I'm just going to wipe up with a sock. Don't you love a live stream? You never know what's going to happen. So I need to retry this e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer because a lot of folks say that they really enjoy it. And first of all, the color is wrong. So gonna ignore that. And oh my God, on camera, it looks even worse, but We need to give this another go because I have heard a lot of good things about the formula. I did try the original Camo concealer when it came out and was not a huge fan, and then everyone said, okay, if you don't like that one, try out the hydrating version. And the first time I tried it out was not bad, but I wasn't really impressed. And if you guys are kind of aware of my typical makeup preferences, I am incredibly picky about formulas and concealers. They really have to be hydrating and they can't look like a ton of product. So I really wanted to make sure that I actually felt the way that I felt about this concealer before I retired it, because I can kind of tell right away whether or not I like a concealer. Just one of those products. So, how's everyone's week going? How's the old start to the week? I guess yesterday was the start, but I was off yesterday, so today is my start to the work week. This definitely gives coverage, guys. Oh, Lord. J Burns. I have tried the Bye Bye Under Eye from It Cosmetics and thought that it was a little bit too heavy. So it's been a while, but I also kind of felt like it was Friday today. Is that, I mean, that's not right. Just my whole circadian rhythm is completely off. So, how do we feel? It really doesn't look super drying. I can definitely see why a lot of people like this because it does give a quite significant amount of coverage. But I think you can probably tell, pardon my lighting, my not natural lighting. You can kind of see when I do this that you can see the shadow in my eye, like very, like these little tear troughs. You can see them quite readily. And that is kind of a pet peeve I have with concealers because there are actually concealers out there that will not do that and kind of camouflage them a little bit. And this definitely is not doing that. So though I don't think this looks drying, I do wish that it was kind of concealing those a little bit better. And maybe I have another concealer to show you, or maybe I don't. Come on, I have to have some sort of concealer around here. Yep. All right. So maybe this will kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about. This is my Maybelline Fit Me. It's a tried and true. I want to kind of turn this down a little bit. So when I apply this, see, you can see the shadow right here. It's way less visible when I apply the Maybelline Fit Me. I do not know why, but I have just found that that's the case. I don't know if you can tell how that shadow has been concealed a little bit more. I mean, obviously the colors are different and you'd have to wait for this to kind of set down, but I way prefer the way it looks. It actually feels like it's kind of concealed a little bit, but I gotta even this out now. So, I mean, overall, that concealer, I just don't feel like I'm gonna reach for it, unfortunately. It's just one of those things. Concealers, I'm just not going to reach for one that doesn't look good. What was kind of like the makeup product that got you guys into makeup? Because for me, it was probably concealer. because I've always had dark circles, and I was looking online constantly at concealer reviews. I would spend literally any money if the reviews were like, this is an amazing concealer, because I was so self-conscious about my dark circles. Because, you know, at 16, you shouldn't have dark circles. You should look a little bit more awake than I always was. So that is what got me into makeup. It was figuring out how to cover my dark circles. I would literally just wear like concealer under my eyes and nothing all over my face. Just had to fix them. Sorry, let's look at some of these comments just in case I am missing any. In case I'm missing any questions. So Jay Burns, I'm not positive what shade I am in the Age Rewind. I haven't used that concealer in a while, but I'm pretty sure I'm the lightest shade. And the foundation that I have on is the NYX Born to Glow. We're talking about this one because it applies gorgeously. It has a beautiful airbrush finish. It looks really nice on the skin, medium coverage. But I'm not sure about the way it wears. I've kind of found that it's collected around my nose a little bit. And I also demoed, well, yeah, I'm not really wearing it anymore, but I was wearing the Hydrating Camo Concealer from e.l.f. And I just find it just wasn't doing it for me. I like the shadows of my eyes to be concealed a little bit, and I just noticed that they're more visible whenever I have this one on. So I still think that the Hydrating Camo Concealer is a pass, but I can see why people like it because the way it looks on the skin is nice. It definitely doesn't look drying, if that makes sense. So that's a quick recap if you are joining us late. But so I have like a few products I had like duplicates of, and I wanted to kind of gauge you guys on what I should try. So next I want to go in with blush. So we have a couple of different blush options. You might be surprised by this one. It's the Milk Makeup Lip and Cheek. So I don't know. I like laugh at myself on live stream. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? This is in the shade Werk. I initially really liked this, and I had used it for a while, and then I stopped wearing it, and then I revisited it again, and I was like, I don't know if I like this as much as I thought. So I wanted to retest it, possibly, but I also have this new Almay Healthy Hue Blush. This is a more affordable option. This is, why does it not have the shade? I hate when brands do that, but it's more of the nude shade from this line. So I wanted to kind of gauge you guys. Do we have a preference between these two? Which you think I should try? Speak now. Okay, we have one vote for each. Again, we're voting on whether or not I should try the Almay or the Milk. Okay, I feel like it's like kind of even. Oh my god, literally it's so even, it's not even funny, but I just got a couple more for Milk. So, you know, I'm just gonna do one on each cheek, guys. I'm indecisive as fuck. So let's first go in with the Milk, and we'll put it on this cheek. This is the shade Werk, and I'm just gonna use a sponge. Let's give this another go and kind of figure out why I was not feeling it the last time I tried it. That's interesting. So that is Werk applied to cheeks, kind of give you a better look at what that color. I look really pale on this live stream. I can't really do anything about it, but I do look incredibly pale. So that is Werk. First impressions, I don't know why I was being weird about this, because this looks good. In person, it's blended and sheared out really well over the skin. It looks dewy. It doesn't have that issue either where in some areas on my cheeks, it doesn't want, like the product doesn't want to stick on. I definitely have tried some recent cream blushes where there'll just be like a couple of patches that it doesn't want to stick. We'll talk about one of those products later, but I was like, okay, what's the issue here? I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. This is the formula that I remember that I really liked. So it could also be that I think this color is really boring. Like that's a very like neutral, typical blush color. And I'm really glad that people are kind of leaning away from a neutral blush color because I just don't, I mean, blush is not meant to be neutral in my opinion. Like blush is meant to give a pop to the skin. It's meant to give you light. So I don't know. Right now, I am happy that I retried that, especially because I can continue to wear it. And I just love how much product you get in here. It's just a great, great bang for your buck. So, Michelle, I hope that you like the NYX primer. Let me know what you think. It could be that this didn't work well with the foundation that I had tried on that day. And then I kind of was like, you know, I got cold feet about the product, but this definitely, the blend is way better. And I would like Milk to give me some more shades because I think the shade range right now isn't cutting it and they need to be a little bit more creative. So what are we doing? All right, so far out of like all the products, I'm really, really glad that I gave this another shot because I still really like the formula. Let's try this one out again. This is the Almay Healthy Hue blush. I don't know the shade name because, guys, they did not put it on the actual packaging. Just going to apply a little bit. I remember this being pretty pigmented, so we will see. I'm also going to keep it pretty high because I have 2 cream bronzers to try, so I don't want this formula to mess with that one. I can't tell if that's the foundation that looks weird or if it was the brush that just did that. I remember this being really pigmented, but it's not. Not that that's a bad thing. I think a lot of you know that I don't mind a blush that's not pigmented. Okay. It applies really nice. It's very blendable. You can see it's on that cheek. I honestly wish that I had some natural light because I just hate studio lights. This is why I don't use studio lights, guys. Maybe move back a little bit. So it's pretty. But I think this would be a sort of, for lack of a better word, passable blush launch for back in the day when people were really afraid of blush and they wanted only neutrals and they wanted it to look really sheer and they pretty much just wanted it to be a bronzer except packaged as a blush with like a little bit more rosy of a like undertone. But you know, it's not bad. I'm not going to sit here and say it's bad. It's just underwhelming. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about it. And that's not like the best thing. There's a swatch. Isn't it amazing how this looks swatched out and how it actually looks on the cheek? I don't know. And if I don't know after like this amount of time, I'm not really anxious to give it another try. But who knows? Maybe, you know, some makeup products need to kind of set down on the face a little bit. You get the true finish. I mean, sitting here, it doesn't look bad. I do think that it has a nice blend and it has a really natural finish to it. So I think if you're scared of blush, like you're going to like the formula. It's very subtle. It blends really easily. So sorry, I'm not doing a good job keeping track of the comments. Rosu, I did try. I'm not sure if you're talking about the Maybelline Cheek Heats, but I did include that in my best and worst affordable cream blush video recently. I absolutely love the Physicians Formula Triple Defense Blush Stick. I also talked about that blush in that video. What does it smell like? Doesn't smell like anything. I don't know if you guys are talking about this or another product though. So yeah, I think it's a safe call. It's definitely a safe blush. I also keep thinking that there's going to be a mirror on here, but it's not. You can see it actually gives a really nice sheen to the cheeks. So though I don't think it's a bad product, it's just not what I'm reaching for. I think this is kind of trying to compete with the Wanderlust blushes from Buxom, and I prefer that formula. That formula almost like leaves a stain on the cheeks and it really blends out and looks like absolutely gorgeous. I really adore that formula. I think it's an underrated blush formula, especially with it being a powder. You know, a lot of brands are coming out with cream blushes right now. So we have two different options for bronzer. We could give the Tower 28 another go. You guys know that I have been a little bit on the fence about the formula, but have absolutely loved the color. And then I also have this little trio from Hourglass. This has been, you know, it's gotten lost in the back of my makeup. So do we want to try this? Do we want to try the Tower 28? I'm just talking about the bronzers though, because I have a highlight I really want to try. Do you guys have a preference? Let me know while I drink. While I enjoy my $10 sangria. There was like a local bar offering a 32-ounce of sangria for $10. And I was like, how can I not do that? Like, I'm going to do that and just like tip the bartenders probably what I would have already paid, but it's a good deal. Okay. Hourglass has 4 votes. Tower 28. I guess I could do one on each cheek again and do the cream. All right, I'm just gonna do one on each cheek again. Let's do it. I'm putting up my hair, by the way, because I don't want to deal with it anymore. My hair's a little bit flat. This last time I washed it, it got really flat for some reason, so it's kind of been annoying me. So let's do Tower 28 first. And something that I mentioned in that video is that I like to use like a stamping motion because I don't like that this product can tend to pick back up on itself. So let's try stamping motion with this. See what I think. Looks like I'm being really difficult or like hard on my face. I'm not. But like you really have to just like stamp it very particularly. But God, that fucking color, guys. I mean, doesn't it look like I have like fucking cheek implants now? I'm like, ooh, like my cheek looks cut. This color's really good. Is Tower 28 reformulating something? Or I think she meant Hourglass is reformulating. All right, so when I apply it the way that I just showed you, tilt my hood over and really stamp it in, I think it looks good. I think I took it down a little bit too far, but that was obviously not the product's fault. So we'll just kind of blend that out, but it looks good. And this is why I get so frustrated, because I wish a product like this wasn't so finicky, but when you do it right, you just can't beat it. Like, I would wear this every day if it looked like this every single time I wore it. So I still stand behind my feelings about this one. But I thought you guys would be interested in kind of me revisiting and talking about this one. Does this look better? Or the Milk bronzer? If you're going to pick, if you don't have a cream bronzer, go with the Milk bronzer rather than this one, because the Milk bronzer is so mistake proof. It looks good always. It always looks good. Whereas this one is a little bit finicky. I think if you have quite a few cream bronzers and you're looking for a unique color, then go with this one. And I mentioned this in my review, but you can kind of see that the color is just not what you typically get with a cream bronzer. It has like a sheen to it, and it really gives me a different sort of sculpted but sun-kissed look. It's just very different. It almost has like a red undertone, or like it's red but also slightly ashy. I have no idea if that makes any sense. It actually doesn't, but it's just such a unique color. And though the formula is finicky, when you do a little of that, it looks really good. And that has, I mean, my review, if you want like full thoughts on the formula and everything, the color, that is probably well more, you know, way more thought out, and then go check out that review. I got a question about the Tower 28 blush. So that blush, I also had the exact same experience with. I mean, pretty much the exact same experience. It would sometimes sort of pick back up on itself and look patchy in some areas. I did a review on the Tower 28 cream blushes, like right when they came out, before they kind of built some hype behind them. And I had the same experience. And then I retried them and tried this out. And then I unfortunately had the same experience. But I'm way more likely, I think, to recommend this cream bronzer than the cream blush. I think the cream blush, though I think you can still work with it and the colors are really pretty, I just find that this is so unique that I am more likely to spend the money on a formula that I'm not as amazed with. And it is one of those things. This, to me, is not like something like the Fenty cream blushes, where that formula through and through, I think, is very finicky. This one's finicky, but you can actually make it work, and it looks like amazing. Like the Fenty cream blushes never work for me to the point where I'm just like, wow, this blush is absolutely amazing. The good thing about those blushes is that the colors are really gorgeous. And I am working on a dupes video for you guys. I said I was going to do that, and I have been trying the blushes that I'm working on to dupe the colors from the Fenty cream blushes. So keep on the lookout for that video. But anyway, a very long-winded way to say that I would rather invest in the cream bronzer because it has actually, I mean, it looks great right now. There's no denying that. I think that if you work with it, it will give you an absolutely gorgeous look. So let's go in with the Hourglass, shall we? We're going in with, do they have actual shade names? No, it's just called bronzer. And I really liked this for a long time, and then I would wear it sometimes and it started to look a little bit patchy. So let's give it a little go. Gonna place down the product and then switch my sponge so I don't get too much on. So one good news is that it is layering over the powder blush that we just used very well. Maybe spoke too soon. No, it looks good. You can see it gives like a very natural shape. I like that this isn't an incredibly creamy bronzer. Some people will really appreciate that the formulas on here aren't as emollient. You know, some people love an emollient cream product, some people do not. So good news, you know, this is not an incredibly emollient product. I don't know if you can hear, but my boyfriend is screaming downstairs. You know, it's like I mentioned, it is D&D night. That is why I'm trying to make Tuesdays like my live stream day, if possible. So just want to make sure I'm not. If they would only fix the smell of the milk bronzer. Yeah, it smells like Play-Doh. I mean, I used to eat Play-Doh, so I don't mind it, but I know some people don't like the smell. So why am I still so like indecisive about this product? On the skin, it looks good, and I can't deny that the blend was really nice, especially over that cream blush. I mean, when I'm comparing this side, where I'm like, wow, it just is so, the color is so unique, the finish is really pretty, and I compare it to this side, this is a little bit more underwhelming for me, but I have to be honest, I think that this is kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of like your special it factor sort of cream bronzer, but if you're looking for like a, this is my everyday, this is the staple, this is the formula that's very bare bones, straight to the point, but good, I do think that this is still good. I actually really, really love the cream blush in here, which is the main reason why I've been keeping it. I think the cream blush shade is really nice. Let me give you a quick swatch. It's really pretty. It has just enough pop that I've found that it's really nice. But yeah, I mean, which side do you guys like? If you can even tell with this lighting. See, I think this looks a little bit more natural. Obviously, it's a little bit more subtle in pigmentation. But this to me just, it gives me a little bit more of that it factor. But as a whole, apparently someone just told me that they are reformulating this. I am not sure if that's true, but if they are, this is the Illume Sheer Trio. I think that there's a reason why this was kind of like a cult favorite for a while, though. I think that the formulas are really nice, good for every day. If you want an all-in-one sort of cream thing, you don't want to, if you're coming to me and you're like, Amanda, I don't want to buy a cream highlight, a cream blush, and a cream bronzer. A product like this, I can absolutely see why you would want to go for something like this. And also, as a whole, like this cream blush and the cream bronzer, the colors go well together once you actually apply them to the skin. So the colors were well thought out. I still really like this highlight. I think the highlight is really good, especially in the summer. For me, I'm a little bit too pale right now. But as a whole, I think I'm still, I'm not like, I'm going to reach for this every day, but I definitely see why this formula was so good when I started to first try it. And I still think it's a solid formula to, you know, to wrap it up. Bronzer, done. All right, I'm going to look through the comments real quick for any questions, and then we'll move on. So I would love to find a dupe for the Hourglass palette. I don't find that there's a lot of options out there, especially because of brands like, why would I create a palette for this price tag when I could just sell 3 products, less product, and get 3 SKUs out of it, if that makes sense? I think it's kind of like it's a play for them to make more money. So anyway, here we are, my friends. We're gonna move on to highlight. And then this is actually the Estee Lauder, the new Pure Color Love Cooling Highlights. So hold on. I am actually, I have to report someone really quick. Okie dokie. Sorry, I just had to report someone and get them off here because I don't want to fucking look at it. Someone else. Thank you, Becky. I appreciate that. So, oh wait, I need to tell this story really quick. I actually, I went on live stream for a bit on Saturday, and I was so innocent during my first live stream, like the one that I did a week ago from today. And my boyfriend was in the comments as well, aside, you know, I was obviously. And someone was like, Amanda, do you wear heels? And like asking me a bunch of questions about heels. Anyway, long story short, looking back, that was 100% some sort of fucking fetish person, like trying to hear about how I wear heels. And it was so funny though, because Ross is responding to them. My boyfriend, he's like, Amanda doesn't wear heels. But then I was like, oh, but if I do, like, this is the kind of heel that I wear. And I had like straight over my fucking head. I thought it was just one of like you guys. And it was not. It was not. I did not show them my feet, but they like definitely are one of those people that wants like, they want a woman to like hurt them in heels. Like, I think that's a thing, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it is. It's some sort of thing. Okay. Now that we got that story out of the way, I honestly think it's really kind of funny how I mean, you guys know this channel is pretty fucking small, so I don't understand. I don't understand how they find my channel. Okay. Anyway, okay, the feet picture thing, I completely understand though. When people are like, yeah, I make money off of feet pictures, I'm like, sounds fucking smart to me. I mean, do your thing. Sounds smart to me. Yeah, it does sounds like a normal question, and they're like, yep, stab me with your heel. And I'm like, okay, anyway. So Estee Lauder released these new Pure Color Cooling Highlights, and I actually saw this on Trend Mood, and the swatches looked absolutely gorgeous. This is the lightest shade, you can see, and it actually does have like a cooling sensation to it. Not in a way where it's like menthol-y. It just kind of feels like, I don't know if you guys have ever had like a hydrogel stick like that you've put under your eyes and it's kind of cooling and it feels refreshing. That's kind of the sensation that you get. So the problem that I've found with this is that it just is, I just don't the finish to me is really underwhelming. But let's see how it looks on the skin. It's not glittery. It's not shimmery. I almost feel like it's like there's not enough pigment to it. Oh, and actually something weird about it. It has like almost a slightly squishy, it almost feels like cheesecake. I know it's a weird way to describe it. But if you know how cheesecake feels, and you kind of like smush it down a little bit, it almost has that feeling. So, do you see that? Okay, first of all, look very closely. There's my cheek. Here's me taking some on my finger and applying it. Do you see a difference there? I'll do it again. Like, did you see that? Natalie, it's kind of like a bouncy blush, but it's even more fragile. It kind of feels like you could stick your whole finger down into it. All right, like, look at this. Like, that finally gave me a little bit, but it's just... This is a no-go. I'm just going to cut to the chase here. Christy, it's kind of like the Super Shock shadows, but to me, this formula is almost like a whipped cheesecake texture. Like, it feels a little bit more fragile than a lot of putty products. This is a pass, guys. So the new Estee Lauder highlights that you may or may not have been seeing on Trend Mood in this little packaging. I mean, the swatches looked absolutely gorgeous. The pictures look beautiful. That's a no-go for me. It's very, very underwhelming. I have the lightest shade, by the way. It's 001 Moon Pearl. It's very underwhelming. But I want to show you, since that was so underwhelming, I'm like, let's go in with the Hourglass one real quick so I can give you a look of like what I'm looking for in a cream highlight and how like the look it'll give my skin immediately. So we have that. It's very subtle. I mean, I will give them that it doesn't feel like a lot of product on the skin, but it also doesn't really show up. So I don't know if you could see that, how now, like, whenever the light hits my cheeks, when I have this Hourglass one on, it's like, oh, she's got a little pop. And it melts into the skin. And it looks, like, to me, this is how you do a subtle cream highlight the right way. It almost has that, like, cream to powder formula. It really blends in and almost has, like, a sort of airbrush quality to it. Then you have something like this, where it's like, here, you can see on my hand, there's the Hourglass. Look at that shine, really even. There's the Estee. It's like, where are you at? You're not doing much. I always use this as like, in place of like a towel, a paper towel. During these live streams, I'm like, I'm messy as fuck. So anyway, yep, this is not a favorite. Unfortunately, I wish that I had just like not been curious about it, but hey, you know, whatever. It's what it is. I'm determined to buy the Guerlain stick. It is very expensive. Yeah, it is an absolutely gorgeous product, but it is expensive. That is one of my favorite cream highlights, though. The Hourglass one reminds me quite a bit of, let's think about it. If you've ever tried the Kosas duos, the Hourglass reminds me of the Kosas duos, but the formula is not as emollient. It's a little bit more lightweight. If you can imagine the Hourglass, like their powders, especially like the 3-pan highlighting powder, this to me is exactly that, except in a cream formula. The formula is very thin. It has that sort of softness, and it's not a powderiness necessarily, but it definitely has that airbrush quality to it that I just think is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, this, yes. Estee Lauder, no. That is so good. I don't know how that was $10 for 32 ounces of sangria. Anyway, if you were not here earlier, I was like, there's a local place getting like, doing like a sangria Tuesday, $10, and then I just pay the bartenders a shit ton of money for the deal. But like, this is really good. Anyway, next, guys. So let's quickly do a little bit of brow and get it over with. I now don't like doing my eyebrows because I have bangs. And it's just a hassle to put my bangs back. So this is the Ilia. I believe it's called Essential Brow. Don't quote me on that. Yes, it is. You can quote me on that. And I've always been a little bit underwhelmed with this, but I figure I'd give it another try. I just don't see the point in spending so much money on this formula in particular. It definitely just feels like another cream formula. One thing that's interesting about the brush, I don't know if you can see that, how one side is longer than the other. So it's nice to have this longer side to kind of go through these longer hairs that I have towards the edge of my brow, and then use the, I guess like the shorter bristles to kind of fill in some of these sparser areas. I see why they did that, and I think it's, oh my God. Do you see that? I can't tell if it's wet or not. Oh my God, is it wet or is it dried? Oh my God. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just like, where do I put this? I have shit all over myself now. I think we know what I'm going to say about this. I mean, it was just chunky. It was getting chunky in the tube, and that's what happened. So even now I can see like in my brows. Here's the thing, guys. When you have a brow gel or a mascara or anything like that, and it gets dry, I personally feel like it's better. Mascara that it's dried out, I personally feel is better. Same thing with eyebrow products. This is not better when it gets dried out. This is actually, before it was just okay, and now it's just not. It's crumbly and crunchy. So I would not recommend it. Still, we gave it another shot though. That's all that matters. Your opinion's your opinion, and as long as you give it a fair shot, my friends. There's my inspirational quote of the day. So what do we have next? So I didn't have an eyeshadow that I wanted to give another shot. So I figured I would just like quickly put on a little bit of eyeshadow. This is the Kiko Milano Long Lasting Eyeshadow Stick in 38. Are you guys interested in like a best affordable cream eyeshadow video? Because you guys know that I've done the same thing with blushes and cream bronzers, or I'm actually working on that one. But I've done that with cream highlights as well as cream blushes. So if you want to see that video, let me know. Be happy to do that. So I'm just applying a little bit to the outer corner, my lid. Just doing something to give it a little something. I'm honestly not really trying. I just want something on the outer corner. These shadows would be included if I did that video because I think they're really good. And they're kind of like a hidden gem that a lot of people don't talk about. Yeah, there's nothing really, no new revelation with this one. It blends really easily. I mean, you saw that took me, what, a minute? Just used a finger. I didn't even need a brush. So I'll give you a quick swatch. Really pretty taupey color with just a very subtle sort of sheen that you can see. So overall, great little budget buy. And again, you know, just using my towel over here to wipe everything off my hands. And let's do a little bit of mascara, shall we? So I have a mascara that I am convinced sucks ass, but I mean, we'll see. That's what this is all about. I'm just gonna curl my lashes because I don't apply mascara without it. I would never even dream of doing that, to be honest. This is my Kevyn Auccoin eyelash curler. It's really the only eyelash curler that I will touch because it just does such a good job. If you are one of those people that is still using a crappy, just a crappy drugstore eyelash curler that you've had for like 5 years, I really implore you to take the plunge and invest in one. This one's like 20 bucks. It really kind of changes everything once you invest in a good one. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And here's the mascara. It is the Maybelline, the Falsies Lash Lift. Have you guys seen this? Doing the YouTuber thing where doing this to make it seem more visible, but it's definitely not. Let's try this one again. See how it goes. The Second Chance. Actually, that reminds me, there's a bar not super far from me called the Second Chance Saloon, I believe. It's just like the weirdest name, like, come here with your separated partner and let's try this out again. But it's like a really trashy bar. That just made me think of that. So let's see. I'm holding out hope for this one because I honestly am running out of my other mascara. All right. So can you kind of see how it's a little spikier? I don't even know what I'm doing, but I think that helps you guys actually see how the lashes look, even though it looks really weird and it's like, what is she doing? It looks a little bit spikier than I wanted. Also, when you have bangs, you tend to get mascara in your bangs. An issue I never thought I would ever have, but I now realize happens quite often. Also, are you someone that you apply your mascara this way and then you just go over, or do you switch? I honestly do it both ways. If I don't remember to do this, I will just do this and call it a day though. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know how I feel about this. So the formula itself feels a little bit thick. Yeah, it definitely feels a little bit thicker than I'm used to. It has for sure like a thickening quality that I think some of you will enjoy. And I mean, that's the whole, it's called the Falsies Lash Lift. So you're kind of expecting some length, but I don't know if you guys can see. Doing this thing again. I'm not getting a ton of length, but it doesn't look bad. I can see myself using this as like, I can see myself using this if I have like a smoky eye sort of thing, and I want my lashes to look really thick, and for them just to look a little bit black and kind of have more of like a wispy sort of look to them. And these aren't like the wispiest lashes I've ever seen. I honestly don't think this formula is life-changing. We've seen it before, but I don't dislike it. And I think it'll be pretty if you just want a little bit of color, like some extra definition pretty close to the lash line, because that's what I'm seeing the most out of this. I'm not seeing a ton of length, which I tend to prefer lengthening and curling over a definition and volume sort of mascara. So as a whole, I don't mind it, and I think it would be pretty with, you know, more of a dramatic look if I like really built this up and got a ton of black color. But as a whole, like I'm definitely gonna still use this, but probably only for specific makeup looks. When I'm doing my normal makeup routine, I'll probably just stick with my CoverGirl, if I'm being honest. Let's see if I'm missing any comments. Someone said that, so most people tend to switch or do both when they're applying mascara to their eyes. I think I'm pretty much the same way. But if I don't remember, like I'm not going to. If I don't see a need, I'm not going to. That's just how I roll. So yeah, there's that. And we have one last little product. We have the Colourpop Just a Tint. So I was very, very excited to try out this product because it's a lip crayon and it's glossy and it's more of a stain. It really incorporates everything that I love out of a lip product. I really like my lip products to be very effortless, not need me to reapply. And I don't mean that in the sense of like, it's got to be a liquid lipstick, I don't want to reapply. No, I'm just not going to wear a liquid lipstick. It's really finicky and drying because I am like I would literally go out like this, not wear a lip product at all, or I'm going to wear one that's effortless, easy to apply. You can reapply it with not even a mirror. So this, I was really excited to see these colors. By the way, what color is this? Colourpop, really? Oh my God. I thought that they didn't put the color on here at all. This is called Cherry Pickin'. It's not really cherry at all. You would think it would be like a blackened sort of cherry color, like the Black Honey from Clinique, but it's not. Just a very neutral nude sort of shade. But here's the thing. It smells really good. Hold on. Yeah, I do think the mascara does look good, but again, I would probably use it with more of like a deeper eyeshadow look, because without a lot on the lids, I just find that I don't know. I like to go with a more subtle mascara to match a subtle look rather than like, whoa, let's go in with a pretty heavy duty mascara and then not a lot on the lids. That's just kind of my thing. But yeah, this is the Kevyn Auccoin eyelash curler. This one's bomb. So I was not impressed with this one though. I just felt like whenever I wore it, it just wasn't doing much for me. I also have a crack over here in my lip that I've had for a few days, so it looks a little bit uneven over there, but it's not exactly the lip product's fault. See how this looks much deeper when you apply it? You can see on the cap, it's quite a glossy product. Super, super slick. But I want to kind of blot off some of the product because this is how I would actually wear it. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it looks good when you blot it off. When you first put it on and you don't blot it though, it does not look flattering. Yeah. I would say if you're interested in these, I don't think that the formula is out of this world, if I'm just being honest. I think the formula looks a little bit strange if you're using it as like a full pigment product, but when you blot it off, definitely looks natural and it looks pretty. I'm actually not mad at the way it looks right now. I do like that it's a crayon, so you can kind of get a little bit more precision if that's what you want to do. But is it like one that I'm over the moon about? Probably not, but I actually don't think it looks bad now that I blotted it down. And one thing that I do like about it, just looking at it, is that it doesn't really translate as a lipstick necessarily. Like if I had said, oh, I just put on like a bit of chapstick or XYZ with a tinge, it doesn't really translate as a lot of color product, which for me on the lips, I either kind of go bold or I go in this more like rosy nude spectrum. That's what I find just looks the most flattering on me. So this definitely hits the rosy nude spectrum for me. Honestly, I'm actually kind of glad I gave it another chance. I would not, if I had not barred it down though, like taken a little bit off, I would have been like, this is not good. So I'm glad that I did that. And again, this is the shade Cherry Pickin'. I'd be interested in seeing how some of the other shades wear. And also, just a side note, I don't actually, like, it smells good, but it almost is kind of like too much in a weird way. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. It is kind of like a lip version of Roosevelt. That's a good comparison, Natalie. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, it looks pretty. I feel like this is a good dinner date lip product. That is something that this is kind of off topic. Something I am so happy that I don't have to deal with, which I know I'm lucky that I don't, is I sometimes see comments on videos like, what do? I slept with this guy and like, I don't want to take off my makeup before I go to bed. Or like, I want to wear this lip product, but I'm going on a date and I don't want it to get all over him. These things I'm so glad that I don't have to worry about because one, I have literally refused any intimacy because I've had my fucking skincare on. I'm like, don't fucking kiss my face. I don't need another pimple on my face. And I know some, like, that is not everyone's experience, but I have 100% been like, not doing that. Probably TMI, but has anyone else had the experience where, like, you have kissed someone or made out for a long time and then it's literally broken you out? Like, that's happened to me. Like, spit is spit. Like, it's gonna be fucking gross. Like, that's why I'm just like, nope. Like, the skincare's on. Don't fuck with me. That's like my one off-topic story of the hour. We're up to an hour and 12 minutes. Oh yeah, beard rash is the same way. Oh my God. And especially because I have more sensitive skin, like you put one kiss on my cheek and you have a beard, it's like, I can still feel the beard there, even though the beard is on the other side of the room doing something else now. So yeah. All right. Do we want to do a quick like wrap up, talk about all of the products real quick and like kind of my overall thoughts? Enjoy some more delicious sangria. Oh, by the way, I already talked about how I like the Pretty Fresh primer from Colourpop. Really good for just like a hydrating base. That wasn't one of the products I was like, let's give this a second chance. I already know that I like that one. The NYX Born to Glow foundation. So again, I've been wearing it for about an hour. At the moment, it looks really good, but it's not that it's settling, but I can see how it wants to. I don't know if you guys, if you know that feeling, how your foundation isn't settling into the areas, but you can kind of barely see how it wants to be in those textured areas. It's just not completely as smooth as it once was. I think it looks really good, but I can see how and why I had a problem with the way that this one wore, especially around this little area on my nose. So I think this is a good product if you like a really airbrushed, flawless look. You do not have oily skin. You do not have like any sort of problematic skin. You want medium coverage. You want that really airbrush finish. You're not really worried about the product looking heavy because you're not going to use a lot because you already obviously have perfect skin. So I don't know. I'm still torn about this one because it looks really amazing upon application. I just know that this is probably, like I thought, more of like a 5-hour wear product. And then afterwards, you don't want to keep wearing it because it could end up being a problematic formula. So those are my feelings about that one. The e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. We already talked about this. I don't think that it's my favorite. I way prefer something like the Maybelline Fit Me. And to give you some like context, the Maybelline Fit Me, you would think it has less coverage. I find that this immediately had more coverage than this. Weirdly enough, I feel like the e.l.f. like this shade is kind of bizarre. This light sand, that could have just been my bad, but I feel like this shade is, you know, let's just say that it was my fault. I don't want to make a comment on the shade range without actually knowing. the shade is not right for me, but I think the actual formula, the way it looks on the skin is nice. I just found that it didn't smooth out the skin and give me a very even, like flattened under eye, if that makes sense. So I still prefer something like the Maybelline Fit Me. You don't get as much product with the Maybelline Fit Me than this. Actually, how much product do you get with this? That's weird. They actually don't have it on the product. That's not a typical thing. But you do get more product with the e.l.f. It is what it is. I don't think it's a bad product whatsoever. It's just, you know, I've got my holy grail, so it's kind of hard to compete. Next. Tower 28, the Bronzino, not the blush, the bronzer in West Coast. That's what's on my cheeks. Again, it's a finicky formula, but when you do it right, it really pays off and it looks really pretty. I just find that it's one of those products that when I'm itching for this sort of look, I'm going to go for it. I would much rather invest in this than invest in the blushes, just because I feel like the bronzer shade is so unique. And when you do it right, again, it's going to get you there and it's going to look really pretty. So I am a fan of this one still. The Hourglass Illume Trio. This is still, I think this is still a very quality product. I still really enjoy the blush. I know we didn't try it on today. The highlight is absolutely gorgeous. But more so talking about the bronzer, I think it's really good for every day. It's soft, it's natural. I don't think that it's the most blendable bronzer out there, but it really kind of comes with the territory when you're using a cream bronzer that's not incredibly emollient. It's going to take a little bit longer to blend out. And if I'm just being honest, I tend to feel like I'm going to reach for a product like the Fenty Matchsticks. That's going to give me a really skin-like and thinner texture that's really, really easy to blend. Whereas this, you know, it's thinner, has a skin-like finish, but I don't think the blend is as effortless as that product. And with cream bronzer, you know, once it looks patchy and it looks blotchy, it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of game over. I'm going to not feel as confident about my makeup look. So I would say something like this, these two products are the best. This one is good, but again, there are some other ones out there that I prefer. Make sure that you guys aren't asking me any questions. Swoon Baby, this is $10 sangria from a local restaurant near me. It was $10 sangria Tuesday. No alliteration there. It's not like sangria Saturday or Sunday. And it is absolutely delicious. I'm actually really glad that I gave it a chance. I got a question about Half Light from Rituel de Fille. I personally feel like it's really worth it. That is like one of my favorite eyeshadows that I wear, period, if not my most reached for everyday shadow. But I think you have to be into a very natural eyeshadow look. Like if you're someone that already has like 10 eyeshadow palettes, you have every color under the sun, maybe you wouldn't need it. But for me, the creaminess and the emollients of that formula, because it's a pigment mixed with an oil, and when you apply it to the eyelids, it gives you a creamy look while also leaning more towards being like that powder formula. It's really easy to use, and I just love the way it looks on the skin. And I've always been more of a texture person. I really love texture. And when a cream eyeshadow looks good on my skin, I always take notice. And for the most part, many powder eyeshadows, like traditional powder eyeshadows, look dry on my skin, and I can see the product sitting on my lids, which to me is just not flattering. One good thing about the Rituel de Fille shadows is they're so thin. If that helps at all. I do like the new Fenty bronzers, by the way. I think they're really solid. I do think the Fenty matchsticks are better, but it really depends on what you like. I have an entire video comparing those two products. I have purchased 3 full-size Rituel Defeat Ashen Ember eye soots. So I have tried all 3 of those. If you're more interested in that formula, visit my best cream eyeshadow video. I did a video on like just in general, here are my favorite cream eyeshadows. So I would recommend checking that one out if you want to see like some swatches of the colors that I have. Anyway, where were we? Okay. The Estee Lauder. I don't know why that took me a second. Estee Lauder Pure Color Love Cooling Highlight. 1, it is cooling. 2, it doesn't give you much sheen at all. I mean, again, here's the Hourglass. Here's the Estee Lauder. Not really much there. We clarified that it feels like cheesecake. Like the formula feels like cheesecake. Bizarre. And in general, I think they could have done more with the formula. I was honestly expecting a really glassy, balmy. I mean, when you guys look at this, doesn't this look like, oh, you're going to get a really glassy, balmy look from this, you know, a la RMS Living Luminizer, Glossier Halo Scope. That's what I see when I look at this product, but it really, the formula is kind of the exact opposite. So I am not as much of a fan, unfortunately. Really wish that it turned out better. Next, the blushes that we tried. We tried the Milk Makeup. Oh, that is like all the way under my dresser, so I don't know if I'm getting that back. We tried the Milk Makeup Lip and Cheek in Werk. And I rediscovered it and found out that the last time I wore it, it was probably just the foundation that I was wearing with it that I wasn't getting the blend that I wanted. So I still think that that is a really nice product. I wish that Milk Makeup had some more vibrant shades. I definitely want them to give the shades a little bit more punch. Would love for them to like come out with a couple of like limited edition shades. That would be fun. And the Almay Healthy Hue blush. As I continue to wear this, I see why people would really like this. I think if you are scared of blush, you want something really subtle. It's accessible because it's drugstore, really subtle and easy to wear. I think that this is definitely a good option, but as someone that really enjoys the active applying blush, the way that it wears on my skin, and the way it looks as a whole, like I would rather wear cream blush than cream bronzer, to be honest. And I know that's a very like backwards way that makeup works on YouTube, but just personally, I don't feel really excited about it. I think it's too subtle. I don't think the formula is bad. It's just a little bit underwhelming. So, I feel like I got a couple of questions. I also love cheesesteak. Oh, I don't think I someone's talking about their favorite Cheesecake Factory cheesecake. All right. So side note, my favorite Cheesecake Factory cheesecake is the Tuxedo cheesecake. It is basically half cream, which is why I love it. I am like a dairy bitch. I love cheese. I love whipped cream. Like I would eat whipped cream, like fresh whipped cream, straight out of a bowl with nothing else, and I'd be happy. So anyway, there's your fun fact. Do you like the Nude Sticks magnetic plush paints? Magnetic matte or plush? Do they have a new formula? If you're talking about the Nude Sticks magnetic matte formula, I do really like it. And I actually used Bondi Bay and Sunkissed just the other day, and the formula is really good. It's expensive, but they know what they're doing. Also, I just realized, why is my sweater's a little bit wrinkled on this side? I don't know how that happens. Anyway, my friends, the Ilia eyebrow pencil product, not pencil, but whatever this is, just I mean, it feels really luxe, guys. It feels heavy. I appreciate the thought that they put into the actual brush. I just don't think that it's necessarily worth spending a bunch of extra money. It's not that it's a bad product, though, especially if you're into like clean beauty and you're like, listen, I only want to use clean beauty and I'm interested in this. Well, I can understand that, but I just like an eyebrow product that gets better with time as it dries up and doesn't get worse. Kind of puts me on like a time crunch, which I don't like. And we already talked, I applied this, the Kiko eyeshadow stick, and that wasn't really a second chance product. I've always loved that. The Maybelline, the Falsies Lash Lift is really pretty. I think it's really nice if you want more of like a dramatic eye look. For me, I prefer something a little bit more fluttery, a little bit more lightweight, not something as focusing on defining the lash and giving it volume. I personally find that something with more curl and more length is more flattering on my lashes. The Lash Blast volume is like been a holy grail for a very long time. And the Colourpop Just a Tint. I'm glad that I retried this one because I think when you blot it out, it's really pretty. I don't like the scent as much as I did in the beginning. And you know what's weird? These do have a slippy quality to them. Not slippy in the way of like a typical lip balm that it feels like a comforting sort of slip. It definitely feels kind of silicone-y mixed with the balm, if that makes sense. But I think it looks good. I think it looks natural and it blots out really well, which is all I can really ask for with a more affordable lip product, is that it's just going to look flattering on the skin. I think the color's pretty. When you first apply it from the tube, you guys saw that it just looked a little bit too intense for me. Once you blot it out, it looks a little bit more natural. So, all right. I think I'm going to take a couple of minutes to kind of wrap up any questions you guys have. Obviously, I need more sangria. I feel good that I retried some of these products. I am actually really glad that I retried the Milk Makeup lip and cheek color, because it's one of those things where I'm like, you really liked that, so why don't you now? Again, I think it was like whatever foundation I was wearing with that. And it also feels good to kind of reaffirm the feelings that I've always had about Tower 28 cream products. It is bizarre how they kind of pick up on themselves. And yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this NYX foundation. I think I'm just going to use it for days where I know I'm not going to continue to wear foundation for a long period of time. Because I think it looks really nice, but I can just tell. It's one of those foundations where it's going to be like, gotcha, 5 hours in, gotcha, you look like shit now. But this shade was it's Just a Tint from Colourpop in the shade Cherry Pickin'. It really disguises the wine lips well too, if that's something that you were looking for. Anyway, my friends, do you guys want to let me know if around this time works? Do you want me to still do, like, I would like to do, if I can make it work, a live stream every Tuesday while my boyfriend is doing D&D and I can kind of do my own thing up here. So if that works, definitely let me know. And I think this was fun. Definitely let me know on my newest video. Okay, if you haven't seen that, you should go watch that after I sign off of here. Let me know in my newest video what you thought about the quality. I got a new lens quite recently, and I'm noticing a difference in quality, but it's nice to kind of see what you guys think. And yeah, it sounds like this time works well for you guys, but obviously you're here, so I guess it would work well for you. But yeah, I would like to do like a once a week live stream. This was really fun. Definitely, if you guys have any questions about like recent upcoming live streams, if you want to see certain products featured, you can always DM me on Instagram and I can try and make that work. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye, guys.